Hey everybody, it's Billy at Bakersfield BTUFF. Today, we're going back to Lake Buena Vista, but not for a Live Fest celebration, but more of a Live Fest evaluation, if you will. We have been fair, we have been honest, and now we're going back to look at the 2019 Lightning in a Bottle, the aftermath. Hey everybody, it's Billy at Bakersfield BTUFF. I'm out here with Dee Fleming, man, and you are the guy that put on the Lib Festival, right?
One of the guys, yeah.
One of the guys. You know, I was out here, just keeping it real here, I was out here doing some drone flights to do our, our post versus pre coming in to make sure everything was up to par. You know, the park was back to where it was supposed to be. And you came up and it's funny, man, because you said, part 4, huh?
Yeah.
I never met you before. And so I was like, yeah.
No, I saw the parts 1 through 3. I was expecting you to come out for part 4. Thought I'd just come out and say hi.
Yeah. Now we had a kind of a cool conversation. I asked you, man. I said, "Hey, you think we could, do an interview?" You said, "Yeah, let's do it." So I didn't expect you to say that, but here we are.
Sure,
and,
man.
So I'll just let me ask some questions here. Do you mind? And then you can just kind of answer them.
Yeah.
How big? This thing is big, right? How many people came here this year?
This year we had just about 18,000 people.
18,000.
Yeah, total people coming through. Never at one time, but yeah, that was ultimately that was the total number.
Right, and I was surprised because you said we expected more, right? You thought maybe possibly a little bit more.
Yeah, this year we're hoping for a little bit more. We're planning for more.
You want to do it again?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah.
This never makes sense to do it as a one-off for us.
Right.
It's too much time, money, energy, investment into it. So, yeah, this was meant to be a long-term thing.
Well, in this video, I want to make sure that we're fair on this deal, and you can see here a lot of equipment still out there, still cleaning up. Saw a local news station posted up a post on Facebook. It wasn't really fair. They made it look like they left all their trash and got out of town. Well, that's furthest from the truth. I mean, this is a huge cleanup procedure, as you can see here. This is not just putting up some tents and then taking them down and getting out of here. It's a lot of equipment and a lot of people, not only to put it up, but to take it down. I was surprised by how much equipment they actually have out there still. Kind of shows the magnitude of this event. So let's get the drone up in the air and we'll take a look at some of the aerials from the footage at the event and kind of get an overall look at what it looks like now and see if there's very much change. I expect there's going to be. I mean, you just can't have tents on grass for a week and not see anything different, but I'm not too worried about the grass growing back. So here's a look at the entrance of Lake Buena Vista. A little bit different than last time we were here last weekend, but the park is still closed off to the general population. You can't go in there. I don't know how some people got their boats in there, but I think the rangers were making them leave. The back lake, Lake Evans, is open, and that's a fishing lake only, and it's very small. But the main lake itself was closed off to the general population. We'll get into that with Dee too. He'll get into how long they have to get out of there. Well, they got the purple tent area cleaned up pretty good. This was an area that had a pretty intense rave. I don't even know if that's the word, but I'll call it a rave. But it had a lot of loud music and a lot of sophisticated lights going on. A lot of fun, actually. This thing went on all night. They got it cleaned up pretty good. Taking a look here at what it looked like during the event. This really isn't my thing, but when I first went in, I felt like an outcast, and it didn't take very long. I started having a good time. All the lights and the music and all that, a lot of positive energy. It's actually kind of fun. So when you came into Bakersfield, I gotta imagine that, did you get the reception that you thought you were gonna get?
Yeah, we knew where we were going. We knew that every time we go into a new venue, a new area, we're gonna get a reaction. We know that we're a unique event and we bring a unique crowd. So yeah, the reaction that we got wasn't a surprise to us.
Right. Was there things about Buena Vista that when you saw it the first time, you're like, I think this would be a good venue? Like, how do you choose your venues?
Yeah, I mean, I've mentioned it before, like when we look at venues, we're always, as event producers, my brothers and I were always looking at pieces of land, properties, venues, whatever, all over California, all over the world, really. We're just like, would that work as a festival? When we see Buena Vista, this checked all our boxes. Has water, has grass, has some infrastructure and roads, has trees. It's flat. It's close to the freeway. It's close to LA. It's easy to get to. It really kind of checked all the boxes, and we were just really excited when we found it.
Right. I think one of the comments, I think we interviewed someone, and one of the comments they said that you guys were at San Antonio last year, and they said this one was a lot better venue because everything's a little tighter, and there was no hills, and it was like.
Yeah. No. This. We were able to make more of a compact, intimate festival while still having more than enough space for what we need to do and what we want to do. Lake San Antonio, it was gorgeous out there, but super spread out. It was like the whole festival site, I think, was 1.5 miles long. Wow. So this made it more compact, and it was a lot better and a lot easier for the attendees.
So here's a look at the Lagoon Beach area. For those of you familiar with Buena Vista, it would be to the right of the launch ramps. And man, you would never know that was Lake Buena Vista from some of those videos. I mean, when I was standing in it and I couldn't believe what I was looking at, I just didn't feel like anything like Buena Vista. And here you can see people having a good time. And yeah, this was probably one of the things I was most impressed with, or made me feel like, we kind of take for granted what Buena Vista has to offer. This shot right here is probably my favorite shot that we did all weekend, of course, with the drone. And just really cool, man. I mean, to believe this is in Bakersfield, and for the most part, most people in Bakersfield either didn't know about it or weren't there. Kind of blows my mind, actually.
Yeah, this thing's not cheap to put on, right? I mean, I don't know how much machinery you have here, but it's a lot, right? I mean, this is not something where you pitch tents and go home, right?
No, it's a city, If we have probably 150, 160, Kubotas and Polarises, 25 boom lifts, forklifts for days. We're building a city, It's not just like pop up a stage and people come pitch a tent and that's it. It's like, I think you can kind of see by the imagery and the videos that are out there, it's like we put a lot of time, energy, money, and blood, sweat, and tears into this show. It's like we're trying to put on something magical for people.
Right. Did you think this year went smooth according to all the other ones? I mean, how would you rate this one?
Yeah, I mean, this was super smooth. It's really hard to nail the logistics and the flow of people and everything in a year one scenario. And we worked really hard with all the different agencies in the county, fire, sheriff, health department, planning department, everyone. And we just brought in our experience, and we were really impressed and happy with the way that everything worked just this first year. Like, I don't know that we would make a ton of changes coming back.
I was just about to ask you that. If you had to do it again, would you change anything?
There's always tweaks.
Yeah.
It's actually fun when you get to set it all up, and then you're like, all right, now how do we make some changes? How do we, make things better? We're always about making it better. So we'll make some small changes, but wholesale changes, I don't think so. I think we did good with the layout and the way that we put it all together.
Right. So like your cleanup team here, there's a procedure to it, right? I mean, obviously there's big things that come down first, and then you start fine-tuning little areas. Is that how it works?
Yeah, absolutely. We have a lot of different teams out here, a lot of different departments. So the build teams start bringing down the big structures. The waste team, and we call it the green team, they're out running around, hitting the campgrounds first, getting everything done. Then they come on the inside of the festival and start working on the inside. I don't even know how many departments and teams we have out here right now, but it's a lot. Everyone's running around like ants, just taking us down.
Right. I would say too, I heard someone post, they said, look, these guys care about the environment, and like when they leave, they go the extra effort to make sure they leave it like they showed up. I mean, is that fair to say? Or?
That's very fair to say. And, you do the big, you get the big stuff out, you get the trash out. Then we have a yard in the back of the park where we call the transfer station. We're actually back there sorting everything. We're sorting the recycling, the compost, and the trash. So we try and sort it and have the attendees do their best out here, but then we're in the back sorting it. And then when it's all said and done, the last people on site are our green team, and they're going to line up in a long row. And they did it here yesterday out in this field. But they'll line up in a row with buckets, and they're going to get the little stuff.
Wow.
And we sweep the whole grounds.
That's cool.
So we're going to get the stuff that's been out here, just in the park already.
So nobody has to ever fear about coming back to the lake and seeing something you're not supposed to.
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's get back up in the drone one more time. And this area right here along the edge, there were a lot of tents. And wall-to-wall tents, I think is fair to say. And of course, they're all gone now. I'll show you a before picture of what it looked like at the event. Pretty interesting that they had this storage area here where they kept a lot of the equipment, and this is behind the scenes, I guess, of the Lightning in a Bottle Festival. And I didn't realize this was there, so they had it hidden pretty good in the festival. For most people that went to the Lightning in a Bottle event, they're back home getting back to their normal lives. And as you can see here, there is a lot of people still at the park 5 days later trying to clean this thing up to get it back in order. So just an incredible amount of people involved to make something this big happen in Bakersfield.
I came in skeptical on the thing as much as anybody, and I think I enjoyed myself, to be honest with you. I didn't. It was a new experience for me. It's like eating at a new restaurant.
Right.
But to me, I had a great time, and I think a lot of people saw some of the stuff we did. We did 3 videos. I think a lot of people saw that and said, well, maybe it's not as bad as I thought it was. I saw a lot of comments like that, and I don't know. You plan on, your goal is to try to get maybe a few years out of this, and
yeah, absolutely. We're hoping to come back. We heard those same comments. We saw those comments, and we got a lot of good feedback from the county, from the attendees, and from locals that came out. And a lot of the local vendors that we hired to come in and work with us out here, they were all very impressed, and it was different than what they expected. So. We're hoping to come back and make this kind of a long-term venture out here.
Yeah, and one more thing before I let you go. There were some people from here saying, well, we didn't see anything about it in Bakersfield, and I guess there are people here that probably felt like they might have been excluded, but is that, really it's open to anybody, right? You're not trying to exclude anybody.
No, it's absolutely open to anybody. A lot of the advertising and the promotions that we do are online, so they're targeted, so they're going to people that already, are looking for something like this. We don't do a lot of the billboards or the radio stations. We've never really done that kind of stuff. So we don't target specific markets. We kind of market on a whole. But people here know who we are now and know what it is. So, if you want to see it next year, hopefully we'll be back.
You guys are shooting for next year a little bit of change on the date, right?
Yeah, we're hoping to do Memorial Day weekend next year. That's always been our date, traditionally over the many years we've been doing this. So that's the goal, to come back on Memorial Day.
All right. Well, thanks for that interview, man.
Yeah, man. Thank you. Thanks for coming out. Thanks for shedding some light on this. I know I watch your videos and I definitely appreciated them. So thank you.
All right. Very cool. All right, man. This is Didi. This is Billy. Hanging out. Bakersfield Tap.